impeachment complaints against the president for culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayal of public trust, graft and corruption, and other high crimes, and including murder and bribery, actually. Now, what was the tipping point, sir, for your party to finally agree to you filing this impeachment complaint?
Well, we've been trying to find avenues of our dissent. There were so many investigations before. We didn't have the opportunity here at the House. Actually, at the start of the term of the President, there was a resolution calling for the investigation on the alleged extrajudicial killings that were happening at the time and are still happening right now. And there was also a hearing at the Senate, but we know what happened with that hearing. The chairwoman, De Lima, was replaced because they feel that it's disadvantageous to the president. Then it was replaced by a friendly senator to the president. Now, there's no other venue for us to express our opposition to this administration. And since we want to abide by the existing legal processes in the country, and filing an impeachment complaint is to formalize our allegations against the president. The contents of the complaints have been the talk of the town already for the past several months, and I'm just formalizing the complaint in the form of an impeachment complaint.
Sir, a big chunk of the complaint is about the ongoing war against drugs.
Yes.
So can you give us the highlights of your argument in the impeachment complaint?
Well, we believe that the policy that was implemented by President Duterte when he was still a mayor in Davao, through the so-called Davao Death Squad. So this is a group of hitmen eliminating the so-called menace of the society without going through the due process, observing the rule of law. And he used this not only to those so-called menace of the society, but even against his opponents and critics. Now, when he became a president, he brought this policy in a national level. And we saw, we're witnesses to what happened in the past several months, around 9 months. There were already around 8,000 plus deaths due to a war on drugs. Now, and majority of them are called death under investigation. Now, you can hear the president right from the start, even during campaign, that he encourages, he condones, he even promises rewards or medals for those who will kill drug offenders. He even said, parents, you might as well kill your children involved in drugs, so that it would be less painful. So all this pronouncement, practically in every speech or pronouncement he has, he was saying that I am adopting a policy of killing. So with the president, because as far as we're concerned, every time the president speaks up, it's a policy. So whether it's a direct policy or not, then he's just encouraging these killings.
But did you introduce any new evidence against the president, linking him, for example, to the deaths related to, or allegedly done by the Davao Death Squad? Or because it seems like you based your evidence from what from news organizations or from the investigations of testimonies of Las Cañas and Matabato and other documents provided by other institutions. May bago po ba kayong binigay sa complaint niyo, sir?
Well, as I've said, those were not case filed before any court.
Okay.
There was a case before the Ombudsman on the graft and corruption issue, but no case was filed against extrajudicial killing as far as I'm concerned. So we are just formalizing it, and there will be more witnesses who will come out. As I've said, at the proper time and proper venue, these witnesses will come out, and even additional evidentiary documents will be presented.
But they're ready to speak for you.
We hope that more will find their courage to come out.
Why did you include cases involving President Duterte when he was still mayor?
You know, we're saying that in this country, even if you are a president, it doesn't mean you're excused or exempted in observing the law. So if you committed especially high crimes like mass murder and plunder, you should be accountable to that. So even if those things were committed when you were still mayor, it is not an excuse that you are not accountable to that crimes anymore.
But can you impeach a person from a position for crimes that he didn't do while he's in the current position?
That is part of the provision of the Constitution. Crimes committed even before you assume as president. But again, I must remind that the crimes committed before he was president are only part of the complaint. So the crimes included there also include the extrajudicial killing policy and the misdeclaration or non-declaration of his wealth and properties. So that is now.
Okay. Now, Congressman, walk us through the process that your impeachment complaint will be going through at the House of Representatives, because we know that you filed it on the first day that congressmen are on a break. So, paano po ba yun, sir?
Well, the session will resume on May 2.
Yes.
We're on recess right now for the members of Congress, but the House is still open to receive bills and resolutions and even the complaint. So we filed the complaint this morning, and then it will be right away referred or transmitted by the Secretary General to the Speaker. And the Speaker has the duty to include this in the official business within 10 session days. Again, session will start on May 2. So within 10 days, he has to transmit this to the Rules, the Committee on Rules, for referral to the appropriate committee, which is the Justice Committee. So once it is referred to the Justice Committee will convene and then deliberate on the impeachment complaint. Then once they are done with the deliberation, they will come out with a committee report. They will vote on the committee report and transmit it to the plenary for approval. Then in the plenary, the sponsor will sponsor the report. Then it's up to the House to vote on it. Now, assuming before or during the deliberation of the Justice Committee, 1/3 of the House decided, 1/3 of the members of the House decided to affix their signatures in supporting the impeachment complaint, then it will be automatically transmitted to the Senate. Because the House acts as a fiscal, finding probable cause, and the hearing would start once it is transmitted to the Senate. So again, there are two ways: by the committee, and the other one, once you get the required number of votes or signatures, then it will be transmitted by the Speaker to the Senate.
Now, the two ways that you mentioned, it's about numbers eh. And in the House, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Now, we understand, sir, that malaki ang clout ni President Duterte here in the House. We've seen that in the vote for the death penalty bill.
Yeah.
It's 217 yes votes versus 54.
Yeah.
So, sir, how do you think are the chances of your impeachment complaint flying here in the House of Representatives?
Well, I understand that present situation. We've seen that during the voting for the death penalty bill. That's the reason why I filed the impeachment bill on the first day of the recess, so that it will give time to the members of Congress to think about it, to see the complaints, consult their constituents, conduct caucus among the political parties, for the civil society, for the church, for the people, to make a support whatsoever, pronouncement whatsoever. And then we are also giving the members of the House to include that in their prayers during the whole week, so that when they come back, they will have the decision. Now, for me, I feel that it is my responsibility, it is my duty to do this, to file this as a representative of the people. Now, on the numbers that will support that, it's up to the members of Congress. I will respect their respective decision.
Are you confident that you will get a majority of your colleagues to side with you?
Well, it's not majority, only 1/3. I believe that some members are silent but supportive of this endeavor. Actually, some already talked to me. They signified the intention to join. I will not divulge their name. But in due time, once they come up with a decision, I believe they will go out. They will come out in the open.
Now, Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez seems to be belittling your impeachment complaint, saying that when we asked him for his reactions, he told the House reporters, everyone is free to their own stupidity. And he says that your complaint supposedly lacks form and substance. So what's your reaction on that, Congressman, given that that's the perspective of the Speaker on the same day that you filed the complaint?
I hope he will afford the respect to his colleagues in Congress. He is the Speaker, and he should exemplify the professionalism and the maturity as a leader, as one of the leaders of the country. I am saddened by that comment, because what I did is based on a constitutional provision that is legal, that is not illegal. To say that I am stupid, that is a unfortunate remark from a speaker. But again, I hope he will afford the same respect not only to me, but also to my constituents and to the other people and members of this House, because I myself, I respect his position as a Speaker of this House. Now, as to the complaint, whether it has it complies with the form and substance, he has not seen yet the complete the document, no? And he is already biased in concluding that indeed my complaint is lacking of form and substance.
How strong really is the clout of Speaker Alvarez among the congressmen, since you are on the ground here at the House?
Well, I can say that in this country, it is just natural occurrence that majority of the members of the House join the winning party of the president because they wanted to be part of the administration. But it doesn't mean that they are loyal to the president, especially now that we have, issues inside the House of Representatives by, we were forced to vote for the death penalty, and it's getting to the nerve of some of the congressmen, because we are colleagues here. We are not subordinates here. We should be given the due respect, especially on our voice and our votes. Now, remember, the coalition right now is based on the coalition of convenience. No, so he has to respect that, because anytime you challenge that, it can break up.
No, yesterday, Speaker Alvarez made good on his promise to oust the 12 House leaders who didn't vote in favor of the death penalty bill. Was that any factor on why you decided to file the case this morning?
I think it would be a factor in this process, because those who feel that they don't have a space anymore in this kind of leadership, I think they will find somebody else. So, but again, I will respect the respective decisions of the member of the House, especially those who were ousted from their positions. I will respect them. But sabi nga natin, ayaw kong pangunahan yung kanilang mga desisyon. But I believe that many will support this.
Will you try to lobby to the 54 lawmakers who defied the president's bill, the death penalty bill? I mean, you're one of them, sir.
Well, I can only do so much, but I want to emphasize that this is not my battle alone. This is the fight for all Filipinos. So I am just one. I am just an instrument. I just provided a venue for expression. Now, it's a responsibility of every Filipinos and every member of this House to decide on their own based on their conscience and what they're seeing right now. I am appealing to the members of the House that to consider this impeachment complaint, considering the fact now that it seems that the system of check and balance is being eroded by the kind of leadership of Duterte right now. And we don't want to see someday that Supreme Court and the legislature have been significantly diminished in such a way that we cannot anymore check on the excesses of the executive department.
What do you hope to achieve in filing this complaint against a very popular president? I mean, the presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella is said earlier that this seems to be part of a very big plot to just discredit the president.
Well, it's unfortunate that every time you utter a criticism against this administration, they attribute this to destabilization. That is why I asked, what is the definition of destabilization? If you criticize this government is already a destabilization move, then there is destabilization all around. No? In fact, they were the ones destabilizing themselves. They were the ones destabilizing their government. So, I believe that it is my duty and responsibility, in spite of the perceived support to the president or the popularity of the president. But again, even if how popular you are as a president, it doesn't mean that you're exempted from being accountable to the violation of this Constitution. Walang mas mataas na tao kaysa sa ligang batas ng ating bansa.
Was Senator Antonio Trillanes involved in the making of this impeachment complaint?
Yeah, in a way, he is involved. He's part of the
How so?
Magdalo group, and actually, some of the documents that is part of the complaints I got from his position. He's part of the group, and we discussed among the group whether to proceed or not. And it was a collective decision on the part of the Magdalo Executive Committee to proceed with the filing.
Well, Congressman, speaking about your party, Magdalo, aren't there two factions in your party, which one is supposedly led by Customs Commissioner Rafael Don?
I just would like to clarify that the structure and members of the Magdalo before in Oakwood and now are different.
How so?
Because some of our members work in the private sector, even in public sector, some went abroad. So we formed an executive committee that is focused on the advocacies of the Magdalo. Captain Faeldon has been a member of the Magdalo, but he was not part of the Magdalo since 2005 when he escaped from prison. So I just would like to clarify that even himself said that he's not part of the Magdalo. No, so there's no faction right now.
Okay.
But again, I respect their position. I have no quarrel with them. The point is, this is not about them. This is not about us. This is about the president and the future of this country.
Now let's go back to the impeachment complaint, Congressman. The only impeachment complaint that against the president that became successful in the Philippines was the one filed against former president and now Manila Mayor Erap Estrada. Do you see any parallels with the situation then and now?
Actually, when you see the complaint, there are different bases. In the case of the Erap before, it was only because of the wetting. It was only because of wetting. He did not kill anybody. He did not use public funds, actually. It was more of a betrayal of a public trust. Now we have clear issues of culpable violation of the Constitution, deliberate, intentional breach of our Constitution. We have a state policy of killing drug offenders. So that is the differences between the two complaints. But again, the similarity may be that both presidents were popular. So Erap at the time was popular. I think more popular than Duterte before, right now. And in the case of ERAP, he was so close with the armed forces of the Philippines at the time. I should know because I was once in the armed forces as well. And with just one complaint out of wetting, he was ousted from his office. Now, if you compare the gravity of the offense, I think this is far more graver as compared with that of ERAP Strada.
You mentioned you're part of the armed forces before. Now, but do you have any apprehensions about filing this complaint?
Well, as a normal being, I don't want to have troubles in life. I have my fears in life, but I have a duty to make. I have a duty to respond to. I believe this is my responsibility as a representative of the Magdalo party list and of the people. And I should muster my courage in order to do this because this is not about me. This is about our country.
Are you prepared for any consequences of that you might be receiving after filing this complaint, either through the House leadership or through, I guess, hate comments from people, from the public?
Yes. As I've said, I was once a soldier. And every time we go out of our detachment, there is already a possibility of you being dead. So every time we go out, we're ready. I'm ready to face the consequences. When we stage a protest against the past administration of Arroyo, we're ready with the consequences. When we were detained actually for 7 years, and we faced the consequences. Our families have suffered. We face the consequences. Now we are responsible citizens of this country. Every time we do something, we should be ready to face the consequences of our actions.
Saan ka humuhugot ng lakas to continue fighting for all these things you've been fighting for in the past years?
Well, the very reason why we staged in the first place a protest before and even joining the military service, this is a call of service. And I did not imagine myself to be a congressman right now. But because of our pursuit for our advocacies, of our principles, we decided to join politics. And with the same vigor, with the same determination as before, I'm leaning to that in doing my duties and responsibility as a congressman right now.
I guess this will be my last question for today. Congressman, what can we expect from you in the next couple of days, in the next couple of weeks, before Congress resumes session on May 2? Will you be lobbying per congressman, talk to them personally?
Well, yes, it's a possibility. As of now, I'm happy that I was able to file that. Finally, then I will go around and talk to people. Yes, that's a logical consequence of this activity. I have to talk to the civil society, to our supporters, so that they will further understand the reason behind why we filed this impeachment complaint. Because I would like to state that this is solely the decision of the Magdala. There's no other group behind this. No, even the Liberal Party that they have been demonizing for so long are not part of this activity. The Vice President that they have been hating so far is not aware of this. Now, even media are not aware of this. So it is my responsibility to inform concerned stakeholders about this complaint.
Thank you so much, Congressman Alejano. There you have it. We just spoke to Magdalo Representative Gary Alejano, who filed the first impeachment complaint against President Rodrigo Duterte. I am Mara Cepeda. Please join us again next time.